Throughout the years, I've always heard about the Fallout game franchise, but I never played any of the games. It wasn't until I played Fallout 4 where I got introduced into the world, and I was pretty satisfied with the game. The gameplay was good, and the story was kind of bland and being outshined by the companions. But that was it for me, really. It wasn't until I learned that Fallout 3 and New Vegas existed, so I decided to play Fallout 3 only to drop it like instantly because the world and the gameplay just felt so clunky. So I tried New Vegas instead, and seeing the same gameplay just put me off instantly, and I didn't play any of the games again, not even the first or the second one. It wasn't until for some reason I decided to stream New Vegas as I heard good things about it and decided to give it another shot, and I was hooked on the game. The game showed me how interesting the characters and the world can be in a pretty interesting world. It made the world interesting to me. It made me question everything going around the world. Before New Vegas, playing Fallout 4, I just assumed it was a really bland world with just ghouls, which are like Draugr from Skyrim, or zombies just roaming around the world and not having any really backstory. Oh, the nukes dropped on the world and now it's post-apocalyptic world with no real issues except for radiation, and that's about it. Playing New Vegas also reminded me of my playtime with Fallout 4 and how dumb the lore and the world lore is. Playing Fallout 4 first, I always shot the ghouls since that's 90% of the enemies, so I always thought they were just feral ghouls, they don't have any cool backstory, or they're just like a bland mutant creature, when in reality they have the potential to be really interesting characters and not have these interesting ghouls like just free in the entire game of Fallout 4. Like seriously, in Fallout 4 I was always under the belief that Hancock, one of the ghouls in the game, was a normal human before the war, but no, he was just normal after the war and turned himself into a ghoul because he was taking hard-ass drugs. And after watching the new Fallout show and playing some of the games, I had a lot of thoughts about the franchise, and I came to understand that the world can finally bring something unique. Like, the world is interesting if it's done properly, and I kind of finally understand the Fallout world. So the point of this video is just mainly talking about like the world of Fallout, that I finally understand it and how dumb some of the decisions are in the different games and even in the show. For the most part, I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was a really good show to watch while I'm eating something, not really paying attention to it. I felt that some of the characters are really interesting, but what struck out for me the most is the ghoul. Maybe you already figured that out since I was talking so much about ghouls, but like playing just Fallout 4 at first and just shooting these ghouls and not having any real backstory to them except for like the Vault-Tec representative in the game, then Hancock and like the kid being turned into a ghoul. There isn't any interesting lore. And it wasn't until I watched the show where I got this clarity, where I saw, holy shit, these aren't just creatures. They are, but there's some lore behind it. They were normal humans and got so radiated that they turned into some creature that will eventually turn feral. And that's really interesting to me because it is in fact a human being just being transformed in some way, and they are living for hundreds of years. And what will that do to them? Like, I'm pretty sure the brain just doesn't regenerate as fast. Even though the ghouls like can live for longer periods of time, their brain cannot comprehend with this extended lifespan, so they eventually turn feral. What sucks for me the most is being introduced to this franchise with Fallout 4, because while the gameplay is fun, there are some good story aspects. For the majority of the game, the story is fucking dog shit, and Bethesda does nothing with the lore that Fallout has established. It wasn't until New Vegas that it showed me what Fallout can bring, how interesting some of the factions can be, how interesting some of the characters can be, and what political or just normal views they have on the world outside, like what they can do with the post-apocalyptic world. New Vegas will always have a special place in my heart because that's where I essentially got some followers on Twitch and made it quote-unquote somehow on Twitch with having more followers and meeting amazing people. And the game just says important shit, like they have interesting characters, and I really enjoyed my playtime because the story was so good. And that's why it hurts me a little bit more seeing the show, because while I did enjoy it, I really got mad at some of the decisions they made with characters, especially one of my favorite characters from New Vegas, Mr. House. One of the reasons why Mr. House is one of my favorite characters is just purely because he's so smart. Like, he got robbed out of a family fortune by his brother, and yet he didn't give up. He built a new empire by his own, made a mass fortune, and essentially became the richest fucker on the world. But not only that, he foresaw that the different conflict between the different countries would come to an end and there would be nuclear war. House could have probably saved the entirety of the New Vegas Strip if he hadn't miscalculated when the bombs would drop, leading to his coma. And what makes me like him even more is that he realizes that the Legion, the NCR, are doing it completely wrong. Like, even his idea might not be the best one, but it's sure as hell better than the NCRs and Legions. If the Wasteland were to follow the NCR or the Legion, the same thing would just happen because the war never changes. And yeah, that's true. The NCR are trying to rebuild a government that got them here in the first place. The Legion is doing a fucking Roman Empire roleplay. Meanwhile, House wants to have like a kinda independent, meanwhile he's CEO. It's kinda sketchy, but he at least has a more reasonable plan.
With all that money pouring in, give me 20 years and I'll reignite the high technology development sectors. 50 years and I'll have people in orbit. 100 years and my colony ships will be heading for the stars to search for planets unpolluted by the wrath and folly of a bygone generation. I prefer the term autocrat. I would rule as a chief executive. I would not answer to a board of directors or any other entity. Nothing to impede progress. If you want to see the fate of democracies, look out the windows.
And I really do think that the show really assassinates Robert House as an interesting character for me. For me, the Robert House in the show is not the canon one. First of all, it's stupid that they want the Vault-Tec to be behind the bombs because they want to turn a profit. They want to have this purify population of these buds, I guess. It's just so fucking stupid to me. Like, we're gonna nuke the entire world to try out experiments and form our perfect Vault-Tec society, even though we're gonna have weird experiments here and there. Like, just fucking build a secret society in the world that you're currently in. You clearly have the money. You clearly have money to build hundreds and hundreds of vaults with different kinds of tech. You have, of course, investors and everything. But let them invest in secret bunkers without a war then. And you're telling me my Robert House, hashtag not my Robert House, went on a secret fucking meeting with Vault-Tec. And he's like, oh yes, I know when the bombs are gonna drop now. So I'm a complete fucking idiot now because I did know when the bombs are gonna drop, but I didn't prepare for it. It just ruins him because he was so smart. He saw how intense the conflict was between the different countries and he prepared for it. He sees himself as the solution. When you go up and kill him and say like, oh, I just don't like you, he's like, so you're killing me just on your personal bias. He doesn't care if you don't like him or like him. He wants to see results. He wants to fucking help the people. I haven't played the first two Fallout games, but I've seen a lot of videos about the different lores in those games, and it just sucks seeing the show put everything on Vault-Tec, and Bethesda has the balls to say that it's canon. It can be canon in its own universe, but I think they should really remove Vault-Tec being involved in this. Making Vault-Tec behind the bombs just ruins the world for me. Like, just when I was interested in the world, like, the main reason why it's so interesting to me as well is this intrigue of who dropped the bombs. Was it the USA? Was it China? Was it Russia? Was it this? Was it this? Like, and now, oh no, it's Vault-Tec because they want to turn a profit. I am scared to see what they will do in season 2 with Mr. House, because at first I was excited. Oh shit, there's the New Vegas Strip. But then when I thought about it, oh wait, yeah, they kind of ruined Robert House, so he may not be as interesting as he was in New Vegas.
But you'll have to go elsewhere to sound your barbaric yawn.
But jumping back to Fallout 4, I want to quickly talk about the different monsters that they have, especially super mutants. Again, same as the ghouls playing Fallout 4, I always thought super mutants were just creatures after the war. They just like spawned out of the fucking wasteland or whatever. But no, they actually have interesting lore. They can be interesting characters, and New Vegas explores that. I just realized this is like a New Vegas shill video. Setting New Vegas aside, just watching the Fallout 1 and 2 lore videos showed me that these creatures are actually interesting because they were human as well at some point, but there was this guy called the Master who transformed them into the super mutants because he thought that this was the next step in evolution. And even though it's a really horrible thing to do, it makes sense because the world is gone. It's radioactive, there's a bunch of monsters, so you can kind of understand where he's coming from. Like, he knows, look what humans did now. We need to go into super mutants. We need to create a civilization with just super mutants. This is probably known knowledge within the Fallout universe community or whatever, but like, imagine playing Fallout 4 and then learning this. That's basically what it is for me, because I always thought they were just dumb creatures, no real backstory or anything. And it just makes it so much sadder that Fallout 4 doesn't explore any of that. They don't have any interesting topics whatsoever. So come to my surprise when I'm playing New Vegas and I stumble across a town called Jacobstown where there's a bunch of mutants and they have really interesting stories, like the Nightkin. They've been abusing the stealth pack, stealth boys or whatever, and they're going insane. They are going insane. That's why they're acting the way they're acting. And now let's take a look at Fallout 4. Oh shit, there's a cool little town called Good Neighborhood. Alright, oh shit, this guy just stabbed him in front of his town. He's the mayor, alright, but he looks kind of freakish. Oh, he's a ghoul? Alright, well, how did you become a ghoul then?
My favorite subject. I came into this town about a decade ago. Had a smooth set of skin back then. While I was busy making myself a pillar of this community, I would go on these, like, wild tears. I was young. Any chems I could find, the more exotic the better. Finally found this experimental radiation drug. Only one of its kind left, and only one hit. Oh man, the high was so worth it. Yeah, I'm living with the side effects, but hey, what's not to love about immortality?
Oh, you were doing hard drugs. You were a human before, but you're... Well, setting the creatures aside from the Fallout universe, I would want to talk about the different factions. I never really understood the Brotherhood of Steel. I always thought they were maniacs who were just gatekeeping the brand new 4090 GTX card. But they have some good intentions in what they do. They want to preserve the advanced technology for the people because they fear that they will just misuse it, and that's literally what happened. We misused the nuclear weapons, which is a sort of a advanced technology. If I didn't play any of the games except Fallout 4, I would hate the Brotherhood of Steel because they're so massive assholes. And when the main faction leader, Elder Maxon, finds out that one of his most trustworthy lieutenants is a synth, literally going against the thing he does, instead of trying to convince him, look, he's been your right-hand man for all these years. He has good intentions. He is trying to help the Brotherhood for years now. Maybe you should switch up. Maybe it's time to switch up the rules a little bit. Yeah, maybe it's time to let people buy the 4090 or just like slowly implement it and see what happens. And if you're wrong, you can just fucking kill Dance, your right-hand man, right? No. You can just convince him to spare him. He's like, alright, yeah, just get out of here. I never want to see you again. Bye-bye. Not at any point in the Brotherhood of Steel questline in Fallout 4 did I ever think, hell yeah, I'm so happy I sided with the fucking Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah, I fucking love this shit. Let's go preach some guns and fucking grenades, I guess. I don't know what it was, but it was always on the fucking cover of the Fallout games, like just seeing the power armor. I'm like, you just fucking get out of here. I fucking hate the Brotherhood of Steel. They're fucking dipshits. But surprise, surprise, I played New Vegas and I watched the lore videos on 1 and 2, and the Brotherhood of Steel has the potential to be really interesting. And watching those lore videos and playing New Vegas, it made me realize that I kind of like them. I just realized that this is more like a Fallout 4 and like Bethesda Fallout hating video, so I guess that's where we're going with. But setting the Brotherhood of Steel aside for just a quick moment, I want to talk about one of the worst factions I've ever seen in a fucking video game, and that has to be the fucking Railroad. Not only are the dialogue options in Fallout 4 just so awful, but the faction, the idea of it just makes me so mad. All of these people are so heavily invested in rescuing fucking robots. They're literally machines. They are robots, and they are willing to spare human beings to save these fucking Asus fucking Alienware PC motherfuckers. And just with the dialogue again, like just setting aside even the fucking dialogue, when you meet the Railroad for the first time, They're like, oh, how did you find us? This is the top secret layer, even though their fucking password is literally their faction name. So when you're sitting there in the shadows and she's like, would you give your own life for a synth or something like that? And you say, no, I don't care. They're fucking PC motherfucker. And he's like, all right, yeah, fair enough. Not everybody would sacrifice their own life for a PC, but would you show compassion towards a synth? And you're like, no. You can literally answer no. You can be so against synths. And they're like, yeah, you know what? You can still join us, yeah. I just can't with this faction. I literally can't. I can't. They've wasted so many resources, and for what? If you want to save the synth so much, just build your own. You literally have robots in your factions. Just if you like them so much, you don't have to have a custom built synth, bro. You can just make one yourself. You can build one, bro. You can just order the parts from fucking Amazon or fucking Microsoft, and you can build one yourself. While we're on the topic of synths, I want to talk about the Institute, which is probably the second worst faction in Fallout 4 and in the Fallout lore overall, I think. Their main goal is like noble, I guess, where they're trying to rebuild the wasteland, but why would you fucking build so many synths to fucking like be the boogeyman of the wasteland, like replacing real humans with synths? What sucks the most is that they're just evil for the sake of being evil, like just my fucking god. Just the factions overall in Fallout 4 just make me so angry. Oh my god, this video is a fucking mess. But Minutemen, they're the good guys. They don't do anything wrong. They don't have any profit margins or anything. They're just doing everything right. They want to help everyone. There's a settlement nearby. I'll mark it on your fucking map. Brotherhood of Steel, fucking dog shit. Railroad just want to help synths for no fucking reason, even though they're the PC. And Institute, they have to be the fucking evil faction, because we just can't have two good factions, one morally good, I guess, faction, and then a third or fourth good one. We have to have an evil one. And then the fucking big plot twist by your son. He's like, oh yes, I unfreeze you from the cryopod because I wanted to experiment to see if you survive the Commonwealth. Oh yes, my mother. It really sucks that she got killed, but I am happy that you are here now and will be the successor of the Institute, even though you don't have any background experience and you'll probably fucking blow this shit up. I don't know, maybe I fucking missed some lore in Fallout 4, but I just can't understand their plan. Like, I know they want an infinite source so they can continue their scientific projects, but like, they have like gorillas and plant life in their facility, but they are synthetic gorillas. So I'm pretty sure a PC can't fuck another PC and make a baby PC. What bothers me the most is when you're siding with your son and helping him, then he goes out to the Commonwealth for the first fucking time, literally a Redditor going outside for the first time. He's like, oh yes, as I predicted, it is really fucking dog shit. I think I'm going back to my Reddit cave and doing the experiment all over again, and we're gonna nuke the world. I don't even understand how our dumbass son is the leader of the Institute, where they have this highly advanced technology. But what bothered me the most playing Fallout 4 was just like, you can't convince him. Like, sure, there are raiders and the wasteland is a fucking shithole, but look, people are trying to rebuild life. There are traders, there are farms, there are factions. Fuck the Minutemen, but they are there. They're trying to help the people. Like, there's still some good. There's not to say there wasn't all good in the fucking previous world. There were murders, robberies. Like, sure, it wasn't perfect, but it was a world. Like, what's to say you won't stumble across the same issues with your synth? You're basically already having those issues with synth having a conscience, you know. They're already trying to act human, so what's not to say that there will be an evil synth fucking just robbing and murdering everyone? One of my favorite moments from New Vegas is when you meet the final boss, the Legate Lanius, I think it is. And if you have high enough speech, you can talk him down, but you have to be precise with what you're saying. It almost feels like you're talking to a human being. He's been built up this entire game to be this fearless warrior, never retreating, and like, we got took in by Kaiser, Caesar, whatever. When he saw that his tribe where he was originally from were weak, the only request he had for Caesar was, let me kill them. They're fucking weak, they cannot be allowed to live. And even if you do pick all the correct options, when you have the 100 speech, like, well, check, even if you think it's a video game, when you just say to him, it is wise of you to retreat, even though you've passed all the speed checks, he says this.
Scribe slowly by attrition. Retreat. Retreat. I was a fool to listen to you. You know nothing of who I am. Your words have done nothing but delay the inevitable.
He's just so good. He feels like a human. He feels like a character. You've never interacted with him. Only other people have told you how he is, what he has done. So you already have a picture of him. So you kind of know already what he is. And he stays true to his character. You can literally convince him like, yeah, this isn't a good idea. Even if you take this territory, you're gonna get wiped out because you don't have enough forces, with Caesar being dead and everything. But if you mention retreat, just like back in his tribe, when he saw his tribe being cowering like cowards, they retreated. He doesn't want to be compared to his tribe. He's not gonna retreat. He will fight you until you're dead. But then with the Institute, you can't convince Sean that maybe it's better to cooperate with the different factions. Maybe showing the overworld what you're doing. There's one small good thing in Fallout 4, I think, where Sean does a PA announcement or whatever throughout the speakers, like, do not worry, we're trying to help. But I'm fairly sure I remember that it was like met with mixed signals. But you can still try. You can try to implement something. You can like put a water generator there, or put like some courser synths to protect some settlements or whatever. It just sucks because New Vegas has given me this taste of this amazing Fallout world, and what consequences and choices can impact that world. But in Fallout 4, there's none of that. Yeah, this was a bit of a messy video, but I just had a lot of thoughts about the Fallout universe as a whole after watching the show and playing a little bit more of Fallout 4, and just how mad I got at certain lore decisions and different factions and everything. So I just wanted to rant a little bit. If you didn't see, this was unscripted, so I just basically ranted on top of my head. But maybe I said something wrong. Let me know. I love discussing Fallout now that I kind of reinvested myself into the universe. Like, I fucking hated it before, but now revisiting New Vegas and then watching lore videos on 1 and 2, I have to say I quite like it. And to some extent even the Fallout show, especially with the ghoul character, because like I said, in Fallout 4 I just killed the ghouls without thinking about it, but in the show they actually showed that he was an interesting human being, and being a ghoul has taken a toll on his morality and character as a whole, even though he also makes stupid decisions. If I said something wrong, let me know. I am willing to discuss it. I have a Discord server. If you want to chat with me about Fallout, sure, I can chat about anything. I love video games, and I come to really enjoy the Fallout universe, so that's probably what I'm gonna be looking into for the past couple of weeks. So yeah, thank you for listening to my on the top of head rant, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Thank you.